Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers and their recent success. And just talk about, first we're going to talk about the Pacers franchise in general, just a franchise recap, to just recap where they are today. And then we're going to talk about if they can win it all this year. Can the Pacers win it all? So yeah, this is going to be an interesting video. It's just all about the Pacers. And let's get right into it. So first, I just want to talk about a Pacers franchise recap. This is really the quickest, easiest way to recap the Pacers franchise. This is about all you need to know, I guess. So for starters, their record overall in their franchise is 2,407 to 2,287. So they're still overall a winning team, so that's good. Their winning percentage is still over 500. Obviously, if they had a bunch more losing seasons, that would change. But luckily, their past few winning seasons have definitely helped increase that win total. They've made the Eastern Conference Finals 9 times in their franchise's history, and that's counting when they beat the Cavs last night in Game 5. So they had 8 appearances before that, but now they have 9, which obviously, the Pacers franchise isn't like the Celtics or the Lakers. They're not going to have like a million. Okay, fine. They're not going to have like 100 combined Eastern Conference or Conference Finals appearances, you know what I mean? But 9 appearances is, it's nothing to laugh about, but it's, there's a lot of teams who love to have 9 conference finals appearances. But yeah, so they made the finals just once. Their only finals appearance came in 2000, and they lost in 6 games to the Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway led Lakers. It was really, there was no chance they were going to win that game. It's honestly a miracle they won 2 games in that series. But these are the best Pacers teams, in my opinion, that had a best chance to win a title. Because obviously, as we know, the Pacers have never won anything. They've never won a championship. I mean, they won 3 championships in the ABA, but that was like 50 years ago. And nobody talks about that. And, they shouldn't, because, it doesn't really matter. What matters is an NBA championship, and the Pacers have never managed to get one of those. And, they have a good chance maybe to, change that this year. That'd be pretty crazy, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so these are the best Pacers teams. We're going to start off in 1994. So in 1994, they had a 47-35 record. Reggie Miller was, of course, their best player. He was in his prime. They had Dale Davis and Rick Smits, who were 2 key role players on those 90s Pacers teams. But they lost in 7 games to the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. All of these teams made it to the Eastern Conference Finals or better. The 2000 team was the only team who made it to the NBA Finals, of course, as I was just saying. But yeah, these Pacers teams, and obviously, of course, as most of us know, the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers were a huge rivalry in the 1990s. So it's going to be interesting, if the Knicks beat the Celtics in this year's playoffs, the Pacers and Knicks possibly in the Eastern Conference Finals. That'd be a crazy rematch. But yeah, so it'd be a rematch of the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals. Now, of course, the Knicks and the Pacers played each other a bunch more times in the finals, they played each other a bunch more times in the playoffs, but that was the only time they ever met in the conference finals. But yeah, they lost, obviously, so that was a shame, but they had a good team. And then they came back the next year. They were better than the year before. The 1995 season, they won 52 games, only lost 30. Reggie Miller was still in his prime, of course. They still had Dale Davis and Rick Smits, a very good team. But they lost in 7 games to the Orlando Magic, who were led by Shaquille O'Neal and Horace Grant. And, a recurring theme in Pacers history is that Shaquille O'Neal is behind a lot of their big franchise losses. Shaquille O'Neal's like the villain of the Indiana Pacers, honestly, at least when you look at their history. And then, of course, and it's impressive that they managed to force Game 7s in all these. But in my opinion, the Pacers' best chance to win a championship, and, the best team that ever won in franchise history, was the 1998 Indiana Pacers. The 1998 Indiana Pacers they were incredible. I mean, they won 58 games, only 24 losses. They were led by Reggie Miller, who was still in his prime. I think he was like 31 or 32, so he was still in his prime, you could say. Chris Mullin, who was a newly acquired player at the time. I don't know if they got him in 97 or 98. But Chris Mullin is another Hall of Fame player. He came over from, was it the Golden State Warriors? I don't know. I'm not a huge historian on this stuff, I guess. But yeah, Chris Mullin and Reggie Miller, obviously both Hall of Famers. Reggie Miller, of course, best player in Pacers history. He was at one point the greatest shooter of all time. He needs no introduction. But yes, Chris Mullin, Reggie Miller, 2 Hall of Fame players combined with the aging Dale Davis and Rick Smits. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup. But they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals in 7 games to the Chicago Bulls. This team was, in my opinion, this is the best team to not win, not win anything for the Pacers.
But obviously Michael Jordan's Bulls existed, and obviously, in 1988 they were doing their whole Last Dance thing, of course, and yeah, but it's pretty incredible that they managed to push Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls to 7 games, and man, it was so close. They put up quite a fight. It was an incredible series, but unfortunately the Pacers fell up short, and the Bulls, of course, would eventually win the NBA title that year. But yeah, so as you can see, their first 3 teams here that had a chance to make it far. Unfortunately, they did push them all to Game 7s, but, they lost all of them, and those were a bunch of good teams that missed out on titles. The next team, you skip a year, and then you have, skip 2 years, and you have the year 2000, and that is the year where they made the NBA Finals. Their only NBA Finals appearance. They were 56-26 that year. Okay, I'm back. Had to pause the video because my brother was screaming. He's young, he'll learn, but I had to pause it and just wait a few minutes for him to calm down, but it's fine. Everyone else got him sorted out. That doesn't matter though. So yeah, 2000. The Pacers, they obviously were very good. As I was trying to say, what was I even talking about? So yes, those are only NBA Finals appearance. They still had Reggie Miller and Chris Mullin, although obviously they were older now at this point. And they still had Dale Davis and Rick Smits. The 2000 Pacers were really just a collection of just really aging stars, you could say. Reggie Miller was older. Chris Mullin was obviously older. All these guys were near the end of their careers. Dale Davis and Rick Smits, I think that might have been their last year in the league. I know Rick Smits, his last year was 2000. Dale Davis, it might have been his last year too. Reggie Miller only had, Reggie Miller played a really long time. He played until 2005, I think, until he was 39 years old. A lot of people forget that. But Reggie Miller was not in his prime anymore. But this is an aging group, and they obviously, as I was talking about, they lost in 6 games to the Los Angeles Lakers. And, the Lakers obviously had Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Penny Hardaway. It was just a complete mismatch. It's honestly crazy. They pushed it to 6 games. Fast forward to 2004. This is the next good team the Pacers had. They won 61 games, franchise record, 21 losses. Their best player was Jermaine O'Neal. I think I'm saying that right. But honestly, I didn't even know who this guy was before I made this video and did research for this. But Jermaine O'Neal was he was a pretty good young player in the early 2000s. He was 6'11". He was pretty big, and he just did basically everything for the Pacers. And Reggie Miller, this would have been his second to last season in the league. He would have been 38 years old. He was a shell of his former self, but he was still going strong, I guess. But they randomly, and they were the number 1 seed in the East, but they lost to the Pistons randomly in the Eastern Conference Finals. Definitely should have won that game and should have made their second finals appearance, but they didn't. They were better than the Pistons, but they lost in that scenario. They lost in 6 games. Fast forward again, 10 more years. We have the 2014 Indiana Pacers, won 56 games, 26 losses. Paul George was their best player. Honestly, they didn't really have any other key role players. Probably could have done more research on that, but Paul George was the main leader on this team. But they lost in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Miami Heat, of course, which had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, the big 3 Miami Heat. The Pacers were no match for them. It's crazy. They pushed that to 6 games. But anyway, fast forward to last season, we have the 2024 Indiana Pacers, 47-35 record. Their best players in the playoffs were Tyrese Haliburton and Miles Turner, but obviously they had a ton of other great players as well. And as we know, they were swept in the conference finals last year by the Boston Celtics, the eventual NBA champions. Boston Celtics were way better than the Pacers last year. So yeah, these are some of the best Pacers teams that never win anything. And this is just, what is this? This is just a Pacers franchise recap, a quick recap of the Pacers' failures, their demise and downfall. This is just a recap of the Pacers' failures, of their best teams that didn't win a championship. They've never won a championship. None of their teams ever won a championship. These are the best teams. These are the teams who had the best chance to win something, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, next page here. We have the 2025 Pacers. The yes sirs. 2025 yes sirs. Their record, 50-32. They started the year off very slow, but they powered through the end of the season to still capture 50 wins. And in the playoffs thus far, they managed to beat the Bucks in 5 and beat the Cavaliers in 5, and they finished them off last night. People are already saying, the Bucks, they didn't have Damian Lillard, the Cavs didn't have, some key players, but then the key players came back, so, But I'm just saying, people are already saying, maybe the Pacers are a fluke. People said the Pacers were a fluke last year. Clearly they're not. They're clearly a good team. They just beat the number 1 seed in the East. They're clearly the real deal. The Pacers are, they're the real deal, as I'm saying. But yeah, I mean the Bucks without Damian Lillard, I understand, maybe that's not that impressive, but I think the Cavs were impressive because the Cavs got all their players back and they're at full strength, and then the Pacers just blew them out in Game 4. So yeah, this is just the Pacers are clearly a good team. They've shown it so far, and they're either going to play the Knicks or the Celtics in the conference finals. So, and it'll most likely be the Knicks because I don't think the Celtics are going to come back from a 3-1 loss without Jason Tatum, which is just so sad that he got injured, by the way. But notable players for this year's 2025 Pacers team. We have Tyrese Halliburton, of course. Obviously, he's the young leader of this team who's just he's so far in the playoffs and even, of course, in the regular season as well. Of course, he was coming off an injury early on in the season, but he's so far came back from that, and he's been incredible. He's incredibly hot from the three-point line. He's just been able to just get hot from three and just absolutely take over games. And, of course, he's hit tons of clutch shots, and it's pretty incredible. Pascal Siakam's had a great season. He's a great role player for the Pacers. Miles Turner is our big guy. He's 6'11". Andrew Nembhard can get hot from three when we need him. Aaron Nesmith is good, obviously. He's a great role player as well. Obi Toppin has all these high-flying dunks. TJ McConnell's a good player when you need him. Benedict Mathurin, he's the young hot shot of the team. So, yeah, the Pacers just have so many good role players. Any of these players, if you need them to, can score a lot of points when you need them to. Like, this Pacers team is just so well built. All of these guys are good, solid NBA players. So yeah, the Pacers are just a really good player, and I have a list of a few things on why I think the Pacers have a chance to win it all. And as I was kind of saying about Tyrese Halliburton, but the Pacers, they can get hot from three, and they get hot from three like a lot. That's what I wrote. But yeah, the Pacers, when they get hot from three, they just completely take over games. They just hit threes all over the place. We saw it in the Bucks series and the Cavs series, and of course tons in the regular season. The Pacers would march down the court, hit a three, splash it down. And then the other team, the opposing team, would run down, miss a three. Pacers would rebound the ball, go back, splash, hit a three, and that process would just repeat itself until before you know it, in a minute, the Pacers are up by 20. That's just how this season sort of went in a lot of games. So yeah, they get hot from three, and when they do, they're incredibly hard to stop. So the Pacers, so far, I'm pretty sure I heard this stat. I was watching the NBA last night, or 2 nights ago, I can't remember. I heard this stat, and I think this is true. Where it said that the Pacers have the highest three-point percentage of any NBA team in this year's playoffs so far. So that's pretty impressive. Out of all the good teams in the NBA playoffs, the Pacers have the best three-point percentage. But after watching all the games, you can kind of, understand how that could be because they just hit threes all the time. Second reason they can maybe win it all is they have maybe the best bench in the NBA. I mean, if they don't have the best bench, maybe it's the Oklahoma City Thunder have the best bench. But the Pacers definitely have the top 2 bench in the entire NBA. The Pacers beat you when their starters come out, and when all the starters come out of the game and the backups come in, or the bench comes in. The Pacers bench is always better than the opposing team's bench, so they just always do better in that regard, or in that sense. So yeah, the Pacers bench is really good. As I said, the only bench who maybe be better than theirs is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have a lot of good role players on their bench as well. But the main reason I think the Pacers can win it all, of course, is they don't give up. They're never out of it. They're never done. The Pacers just don't give up. They have that fighting mentality, and they play until the game's over. And the game ain't over till it's over. They play that, and they live that in their games. Every single play, they don't give up. And that is exactly why I think the Pacers have a chance to win it all. Because they're just a really good, well-built team, and they don't give up. So, I mean, those are really the main reasons. And the Pacers definitely have a chance to win it all this year. But obviously, there's a lot of teams that are definitely going to be opposing them, and there's a lot of good teams still, of course, in the playoffs. So yeah, we'll see what the Pacers can do. So yeah, the Pacers obviously, they, crazy as it is, they have a chance to win. They could win it all this year. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, we wouldn't have thought we'd be in this position. You'd think we'd be talking about the Cavs or the Celtics, to come out of the East to win it all. But the Pacers could do it. I mean, they don't give up. They play so hard. They're such a good, well-built roster, such a good, well-built team. The Pacers could do it, and obviously, it'd be crazy if they could. Can they get over the hump, and can they, win the first ever NBA title? I mean, they haven't won anything so far, man. I've went to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The only important banner they have hanging in their rafters is their 2000 Finals appearance banner. That's really the only good banner they have. They have a bunch of Eastern Conference Final appearance banners, but those aren't really that impressive. So, yeah, I mean, can the Pacers get a championship? That'd be pretty crazy if they did. I mean,
you know, in Indiana, you know, we're hungry for a championship. We're hungry for a winner. You know, we haven't had a winner here in Indiana since the Colts back in like February of 2007. I mean, that was before I was even alive. So, yeah, Indiana, we're hungry for a winner. We're hungry for a champion. You know, so yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be really interesting. You know, they need to win it for Reggie Miller. You know, they need to win it for all those good Pacer teams that just, you know, failed, came up short. You just win it for all those Indiana Hoopers out there who are hungry for a champion. I mean, I think that's about all I probably need to say for this video. I mean, I guess I could say who I think is going to win versus Knicks and Pacers. Because, well, I guess we could talk about Celtics and Pacers. But, I mean, I don't think the Celtics are going to beat the Knicks. And I mean, who does? Like, come on. Obviously, it was really sad to watch Jason Tatum get injured. That was really heartbreaking. Really sad to see that. Nobody wants to see that. But it happened. And, yeah, the Celtics, they're not going to be able to beat the Knicks. I don't think so. The Knicks will probably be playing the Pacers, which is really good. It's a rivalry renewed. I mean, if the Pacers are going to make their first NBA Finals in 25 years, I mean, why not do it against the New York Knicks? You know what I mean? It's a perfect storyline, right? Knicks versus Pacers. Obviously not official yet, of course, I know. But we're assuming it's going to be Knicks and Pacers, you know. This video will age very poorly if the Celtics somehow beat the Knicks. But yeah, who do I think would win versus Knicks and Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, the Knicks are just such a good team. They have, of course, Jalen Brunson. They have Josh Hart. They have, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. Like, the New York Knicks are just a really good team. Such a well-built team. I mean, they beat the Celtics. The Celtics, I mean, before the season started, they were the favorite to win it all. So, you know, the Knicks, I mean, who are they afraid of? I mean, the Knicks are a good team. So, yeah. I mean, the Celtics swept us last year. They swept the Pacers last year. So, I mean, the Knicks are they're going to be a really tough team to beat for the Pacers. But the Pacers don't give up. They've got a good, well-built team. It's going to be an amazing series. I'm really excited to watch that. So, yeah, we'll see who can make it out of the East, you know. Can the Pacers prevail? Man. But anyway, so yeah, I think that about wraps up everything I probably need to say in this video. So I'll end it with this. When in doubt, Giannis wants out. Pacers go all out. Give me the Pacers in 5. Pacers in 5, baby. Thanks for watching.